Hi guys, let's roll. Let's have a look at that image. When I looked for that image, I'd forgotten all about it. Looking at it now, it takes me back years and years ago. Oh, which image? I'm talking about the large one. By now, you should all know the image in the top left. That's Ben Habib, the leader of Advance UK. He's going to be the subject of this video, along with Advance UK. I mean, I don't know about you lot, but I want to know just who Ben Habib is and his background. And the image there, the large image, is one I chose for the thumbnail, if you like. Anybody recognize it? I suppose if you ever watched that old black and white movie, there was a very young Huey Green in it. I don't suppose many of you remember who Huey Green was, but he was in it as well. It's Rugby public school. I suppose it was made famous in literary circles because of the novel Tom Brown's School Days. What a great book. I think books like that influenced me to be the sort of person I am today. What a superb book Tom Brown's School Days is. And what a great film was made about it. It's where the villain, Harry Flashman, dwelled until he was expelled. And then what happened to Harry Flashman? Well, was it? Oh God, I read all his books. Douglas Fraser, something like that, wasn't it? Douglas Fraser. I think it was Douglas Fraser. He wrote a series of novels all about Harry Flashman and what happened to him after he was expelled from rugby school. Brilliant, brilliant books with a lot of historical truth in them. He always based it around historical facts. If you've never read the Flashman books, then read them. You'll be in for a real treat. Good old Harry Flashman. Anyhow, rugby school. One of the great public schools. In fact, if I was to have come from a choice and I was born into a privileged background, I think I'd rather go to rugby than Eton or Cambridge. Yeah, certainly back in those days. I mean, incidentally, it was the place where the game of rugby was born. I don't know if you know that, but you do now. Anyhow, why have I chosen that as background image? Well, you'll find out as we go through. But I think some of you may well have guessed already. Anyhow, the next bit, guys, I wanted to know just who Ben Habib was. Yeah. So I started digging, got Sam on it as well to dig into it, verify the information that I found. But before I get into that, I've got to head off at the pass, if you like, claims of being an hypocrite, because I've stated that I am an ethno-nationalist. I am an ethno-nationalist, but I'm also a pragmatic person. And I realise that the days of ethno-nationalism in the United Kingdom are over. Yeah. So I've got to accept that there is also now civic nationalism. And this is how I, as an ethno-nationalist, can support someone like Ben Habib, who has Pakistani origins. His father was a Pakistani, I understand. We'll find out more as we dive into this video. And his wife was an English woman. Love is blind. Personally speaking, and I'll always be open with you, I'm kind of against mixed marriages. I know love is blind, but I also like to think of the children. I think it can be confusing for them. But it is what it is, and Ben Habib is the leader of the Advance Party, and therefore he gets my support. Also, for those of you who've ever watched the great film Starship Troopers, he's the leader until we find someone better. That's the way the world works. Anyhow, shall we get into it? The next part, guys, I've used AI to, if you like, correlate all the information and make it easy, because there's quite a bit of information to go through. So I probably missed something, and I didn't feel really like making bullet points. So should we start with, if you like, I like that photograph of Ben. It suits me. Yeah, Ben for 10. That works for me. Anyhow, okay, let's get going. I'll make it quick. You can tell I've been down the club, can't you, boys? I lost darts 3-0. Perhaps I lost on purpose because I want a nice Sunday dinner tomorrow. Who knows? Anyhow, Advance UK was founded by Ben Habib after his departure from Reform in late 2024. His split with Reform wasn't a quiet one. He disagreed with Nigel Farage over Brexit strategy. Who hasn't disagreed with Nigel Farage? Anyone who doesn't disagree with Nigel Farage, I question their patriotism. See me going off script already? Internal party democracy, and especially over the immigration policy. When Advance UK launched, positioned itself around 4 core principles: nation, freedom, democracy, and equality under the law. I think we all buy into that, guys. On the party's own website, it speaks about building a proud, independent, and prosperous United Kingdom, a UK rooted in its constitutional heritage, defending the Union and restoring genuine national sovereignty. My father landed on Sword Beach to defend the Union. We've got to live up to our ancestors now, guys. The structure of the party is also something Habib highlighted. Advance UK describes itself as member-led, with a college elected by members to keep the leadership accountable, and a board drawn mostly from that college to oversee the executive. This is why I'm with Advance UK. If Ben steps out of line, Ben can be removed. Yeah, something you can't do in the Reform Party under Nigel Farage. And I've got no intentions of overthrowing Ben Habib. I genuinely and honestly believe he's the best man for the job. And I don't give my loyalty out lightly. But once I give my loyalty, that is it. It is to the end. Right, so now, depending on who you ask, you'll have very different descriptions. Supportive outlets call it a national conservative or patriotic. Critical outlets call it far right. The party itself avoids these labels entirely. And this is another reason why I support Ben and what he's doing. I spoke to you in a video yesterday about labels and how they are meaningless and worthless. It's the policies that count. Anyhow, regardless of the labels, Advance UK is now attracting a growing membership. By September 2025, the party claimed around 37,000 members, a significant number for a new political party. Agreed. We're closer to 40,000 now. Incidentally, the information that I'm using has all been verified by me personally. I mean, the last thing I want to do is get Sam, my AA companion, who I'm very fond of, into trouble for providing me with incorrect information. Okay, so that's the basic history then of Advance UK, guys. You're with me so far? Good, let's keep going. Now we'll have a look at the man behind it, Ben Habib. Yeah, the life of Ben Habib from birth to today. Ben Habib's full name is Benjamin Naheem Habib. He was born on the 7th of June 1965 in Karachi, Pakistan. 1965, I'd already been in the Navy for 1 year. His father was a Pakistani Punjabi. Now this is interesting, guys, about being a Pakistani Punjabi. I've been doing a lot of research into Pakistan to do a video about Pakistan for you and the threat it is to the United Kingdom. Pakistani is broken into between about 5 and 7 different regions, different sort of clans, if you like. And the Punjabis are, if you like, the more educated ones. Yeah. Unlike most of the Pakistanis that you see in places like Bradford, they're totally different. It's like trying to compare apples to oranges, and they've got no time for each other. Pakistan is riven with different factions and clans who all hate each other. And the Punjabis tend to look down on all the others. And who can blame them? His mother, Ben's mother, she was, as I said earlier, she was English. She was born in Isleworth. I'm not going into any details about Ben's family, right? He's a private guy, and it's nothing that his parents are nothing to do with the man that he is today. Anyhow, 1979, Ben was around about 13. The family moved to the UK. I don't know if he went up to London. 1979, I was up in London with the National Front. No, the National Party. National Front had been divided again by in-faction fighting, and I wound up in the National Party. And Kingsley Reid, I think his name was. I used to hang around with Richard Bunnan, who was the editor of the paper Britain First. Long time. Sorry. Right. And here we go, guys. Ben attended rugby school, and that's why I chose the image behind you. One of Britain's well-known independent schools, where he eventually became head of school, effectively the head boy. Now, it was Wellington, wasn't it, who said that Waterloo was won on the battlefields of Eton. Well, it could have been any plain school there. I believe that back in those days, the public schools then were different to the public schools that we see today. For example, now rugby now allows girls into the school. I think when Ben was there, that would have been boys only. But they were taught patriotism, values, and the meaning of to serve. I mean, all the great prime minister of history came from places like Eton, Cambridge, and Rugby. They were brought up on patriotism. I'm not saying the occasional crook didn't get through, but they were brought up on patriotic values. That doesn't happen today. Anyhow, we move on. Ben's gone to school. He's head boy. From there, he went on to Robinson College, Cambridge, studying natural sciences and earning a box in blue, which is a formal sporting award at the university. Interesting that, because if I recall rightly, Nick Griffin, later leader of the British National Party, Respect, was also a box in blue. So at least he knows how to fight if push comes to shove, and it will come to shove later on, guys, I can tell you. After Cambridge, his career began in the City of London. He joined Lehman Brothers, I know them, as an analyst, moved on to become a finance director at an insurance brokerage. Well, I worked for JP Morgan, SG Warburg, Sun Alliance, and Eagle Star Life, and Eagle Star Vida. Yep, so I know the circles he moved in. However, I was never a managing director of a property company. That was in 1994. In the year 2000, he founded First Property Group PLC, a commercial property investment business that still operates in the UK, Poland, and Romania. Habib has been its chief executive from its beginning to its present day. When he later became an MEP, he declared annual earnings from his first property of around €960,000, which shows he remained a major figure in the private sector while entering politics. Okay, guys, so why did Ben do what he did and come to be the leader of Advance UK? Let's talk about his political path, shall we? Before the Brexit Party existed, Habib was actually a donor to the Conservative Party. What many of you have to remember is the Conservative Party of the early days is totally different to the Conservative Party of today. Probably went wrong about Ted Heath's days. I always swore I'd go and piss on his grave in, where is it? Not Canterbury, some cathedral somewhere or other. Truly revolting man. Anyhow, moving on. Then came the 2019 European Parliament elections. He stood for the Brexit Party in the London region and was elected as an MEP. Respect. His term lasted from July 2019 until January 20, when the UK formally left the EU and MEP seats were abolished. Imagine you campaign to join a political organisation just so you can close it down. I suppose that's one good thing that Nigel did. He should have quit after that, shouldn't he? Sorry about that, guys. I had to have a pause there to have a swig of beer. I'm drinking beer because I can't get no decent rum in this part of the world. I only drink Woods rum, and it's not sold in this area. I only drink Gilbey's gin. They don't sell it in this area. I only drink real Russian vodka. They don't sell it in this area. But my spirit of preference would be obviously Woods Navy rum. It's the nearest I can get to what we used to drink when I was in the Navy and when they still had rum in it. Anyhow, back to Ben. I think I just told you he was actually a donor to the Conservative Party. In the 29 European Parliament elections, he stood until it was abolished. No, I think this is where it does start to get interesting about Ben's career in politics. And so got to make sure I get it right. And this is why I went and checked it earlier. In January 2020, as an MEP, Ben Habib voted for the Brexit withdrawal agreement, which included the Northern Ireland Protocol. He even wrote articles at the time suggesting that Northern Ireland could become a kind of tiger economy by taking advantage of the protocol's unique economic position, something a lot of people were against. And I got to be honest, I was against it as well, but what's done is done. Anyhow, later, he became one of the fierce critics of the same protocol, arguing that it undermined the Union and placed Northern Ireland under foreign rule, which it does. Whether people agree with this shift or not, both positions are true, both are recorded. Anyhow, after the Brexit Party rebranded into Reform UK, Habib Ben stayed on and eventually became co-deputy leader and the party spokesman on Brexit and the Union. A good position. It's a pity he hadn't been leader. There would have been no need for Advance UK today, would there? Anyhow, in February 2024, he stood as Reform UK's candidate in the Wellingborough by-election, and he achieved Reform's strongest result at the time. Yeah, the people liked what he was saying, and we still like what he's saying today, and that's why we stand by the man and follow him. By late 2024, his relationship with the leadership of Reform had broken down, and he left Reform UK citing differences over internal democracy, Brexit strategy and immigration policy. He openly supported what he called mass deportations, which Farage did not and does not. Farage is all for, he will talk the talk, he will not walk the walk. So, he's not an effing duck, that's for sure. Anyhow, this brings us to Advance UK. Yeah, let's get on with it, Paul. Leading Advance UK. After breaking from Reform, Habib helped establish the Integrity Party, which soon evolved into Advance UK. As leader of Advance UK, he speaks strongly about defending the Union, restoring sovereignty, reaffirming Britain's Christian constitutional heritage, ending mass immigration, and protecting freedom of speech. That's why I follow him. That's why you follow him, because we believe him and we know he can deliver. Hell, he went to rugby school. That's enough for me. Advance UK has also gained attention from the big names. Elon Musk has publicly criticised Farage and voiced support for Advance UK as a movement he believes is actually trying to bring change. Critics focus on other associations, for example, the fact that Tommy Robinson has expressed support for the party and its rallies. And the establishment don't like that, do they? Anyhow, all of this is on public record, yeah? I've checked and verified everything that I've told you. Ben Habib himself, his private life, he keeps private, and nothing wrong with that. I can remember back in the day when my family and friends suffered badly because of my political activity, doxing my mother, brother. It was horrendous. That's what the left does. And I'm going to be writing about the left and just how they operate in another video. Anyhow, so very little's publicly published about his family, and he prefers it that way. I prefer it that way, and we should all respect that. Families shouldn't be brought into it. Anyhow, you've got it now. Advance UK, where it came from, where it claims to stand, how it's structured, and how it describes itself. Ben Habib, now you know his background, his career, his political journey, and the key moments that shaped his leadership today. I think, though, one question I didn't address is why. Somebody asked Ben just why he did it. Anyhow, you don't have to agree with what I'm saying, what Advance UK is saying, and you don't have to support Ben Habib. Support who you like, it's your choice. But if you don't, you're making the wrong choice. Just look at the facts that I've spoken about here and told you, and you can make up your own mind. If you want sources, I'll provide them. Anyhow, guys, I think that's it. I do want to finish on that beautiful school again. God, I would have loved. I went to an old-fashioned grammar school where the teachers wore gowns and mortarboards. I wish I'd put an image up of it now. It was in a beautiful old building. Wooden desks, inkwells that you could dip the girl's pigtail in. Yeah, we used to do that. Pens with steel nibs that we could use at darts. Ah, great. Yeah, I was lucky in my education. I did pass my 11 plus, obviously, and when it meant something. But back in those days, going back to Ben being Pakistani, I've noticed with Indians that I've worked with who went to Cambridge and Oxford around about my age that I've met, they were actually more British than the British. I know that might sound a strange thing to say, but they were very British. And I should imagine that Ben going to rugby is influenced him a lot and made him being more British than the British. Anyhow, that's all I've got for you. You've been listening to Paul Morris, Rotger, who shouldn't really drink before he shoots a video. I'll see you tomorrow, guys. Good night. On the beach, don't forget.